But this is all good discussion. But one point you made, EVS, that I want to challenge you on, and not the rant, because the rant was beautiful. But you said that the comics is a testing ground to see what's successful, but Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the biggest properties ever in the movies, and it was a lame duck. Nobody even knew it existed in the comics. So I don't think that that's a fair assessment. Also, Iron Man and Captain America were never A-list characters in the comics, and now they literally are Batman.
I would disagree with the latter. Me personally, I would disagree with the latter.
No, what I'm saying, if you're going to talk Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, Iron Man and Cap have never been on that level in the comics.
I would give you, but I would say they are certainly respected and notable enough to have their own film, and you can
but having your own film, having your own film is different than being the top.
What are you talking about? They have sustained their own comics and been stars in the Avengers book for 60 years.
That's fine, but that's fine. But Iron Man was never the biggest superhero on the planet, which he has been for the past 10 years.
Despised. He didn't get series.
Yeah, like that, and that's what makes it. That's what makes Captain Marvel unique. And let me just for a history lesson. If we're talking Avengers, me personally, you can't have a Marvel Cinematic Universe centered around the Avengers and not throw Iron Man in there. He's a friggin' founder. You got to have Iron Man. You got to have Thor. You got to have Hulk at least.
Captain America, Iron Man, Thor.
You got those guys have to be there.
Again, I'm not disputing if they have to be there. But what I'm saying is that the comics are the Marvel Cinematic Universe is successful because of the world building that Kevin Feige has created. It's not about the source material. It's about he took source material and turned it into gold.
How dare you?
Then why is Guardians of the Galaxy?
Died a couple of months ago. Shut up.
No. Why is Guardians so successful?
Because
it's about
they
the source material.
Completely invented it. Guardians of the Galaxy, like the Guardians of the Galaxy comic was nothing like the TV show or nothing like the movie.
Exactly.
They pulled it together. They pulled it together out of nothing, and they called it Guardians of the Galaxy. It started talking raccoon. How could it not succeed? And they tried to.
Hang on, whoa. Batman versus Superman didn't succeed. Batman versus Superman didn't succeed, and it had Batman and Superman
because it was a shitty movie.
Exactly. So the raccoon element has nothing to do with the success. The fact that it's a quality movie in a world that has been developed by Kevin Feige made it a success. Not the source material, not the raccoon. It was a good movie.
But first of all, let's kind of dial it back, because we gotta at least understand that these characters come from the source material. Iron Man is like a direct in terms of how he became Iron Man, him building the Iron Man suit, and by way of the being trapped in a cave or what have you. Only thing they've been retconning over the years has been the same goddamn story. It's just depending on what war is going on at the time, that's what it's based off of. But my thing is, we're talking like Iron Man is some fucking chump or something. Like Iron Man I would reckon
Iron Man was recognizable. Never Batman and Superman, and now he's
but those are like the upper. I think those are guys that are in the upper echelon. That is different. Like when you talk Batman, you talk Superman. Yes, they are a Z tier, as in like they're by themselves.
but Iron Man is beyond them now.
No, I'm not saying that Iron Man's beyond them. Not by any means. I'm saying that it absolutely makes sense why he would be the one. Let's say the Marvel Cinematic Universe was centered around him. It was popped off by him. It's not like he wasn't known or anything like that.
So you're telling me that if Robert Downey Jr., is not Iron Man, that Iron Man is still going to be successful because of source material?
Did you see Robert Downey Jr.'s career before Iron Man? He was at a downslope. Iron Man saved his career. That's not up for it. Yes, it did.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God. Eric is right. Jeremy is
don't take my word for it. Look at Robert Downey Jr.'s career before Iron Man. Why wasn't
the 1990 Captain America such a big success if it was all about the fact that Captain America is just such a global superstar?
I would never say that it's just about utilizing the character and that's it. Like you could just throw a random character out there, no matter how popular he is.
So you're telling me that Robert Downey Jr. is not the main reason that Iron Man is they could have put any character in that role, and you're telling me that would have been just as successful as Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Iron Man. That's
what
you're
telling me.
about
Iron Man. Iron Man
what I'm saying is that Robert Downey Jr. was not the man. I would argue at the time when you consider like hustle and flow, Terrence Howard was bigger than him at the fucking time. That's not up for dispute. Go look it up. Go look at the shape of his career at the time. I'm not the one making him. He himself said Iron Man. He himself said Iron Man saved his career.
So you're telling me
making it up.
Wait a minute.
That's
so
true.
you're telling me Iron Man's going to be successful post Robert Downey Jr. just like he is right now.
No.
Batman survived. Wait, Batman survived Michael Keaton. Batman survived Christian Bale. Batman's going to survive Ben Affleck because he's Bat-fucking-Man. Iron Man relies on Robert Downey Jr.
Hey, well, look at it this way. Here's another factor to consider, real quick. All right, you're talking about the difference between Golden Age heroes that have had more time and a longer history to sort of get into our subconsciouses. Superman and Batman are from the 30s and 40s. We're talking right now when we're talking about Iron Man, we're talking about Silver Age characters. They're on the same level as Barry Allen Flash. That movie's gonna suck, asshole. Excuse my language. And Green Lantern, which sucked. So you have these characters. They're capable of being in bad movies. Iron Man is unique. Here's why Iron Man is unique in movie franchises. First of all, the American public knew about Iron Man, but never really put thought into it. Never really compared Iron Man, the powers of Iron Man, to owning a really nice car or something like that. See, that fantasy is believable, like Batman. We all look at that Iron Man suit and go, I believe that's possible. Now, you tack that fantasy, which is believable and people buy into it, ordinary people believe in that, with a super charming, charismatic guy like Robert Downey Jr., and you've got a mega hit success that drives an entire franchise, which is the Avengers. Okay, not just the Iron Man franchise, the whole Avengers. Now, is it going to work without him? Yeah. Not as well.
No, it will not. Iron Man is a easy billion no matter when he's released, no matter where he's released, because Robert Downey Jr. pulls the audiences in. Another actor in that role is not going to match even remotely close to what Robert Downey Jr. brings to that role.
You don't. Well, there might be someone. So hold your horses. I can't think of someone right now, but there might be someone.
Nobody. It's just like it's just like trying to put somebody on the Han Solo. Han Solo is one of the greatest characters ever because Harrison Ford made him. I
agree. But
Robert Downey Jr. is the only reason Iron Man is a billion-dollar industry.
Wrong, Jeremy. You're wrong again. Iron Man existed before Robert Downey Jr. inhabited him. Han Solo is only Harrison Ford. Han Solo did not exist as a character without Harrison Ford stepping in there. So we all associate him. Han Solo and Harrison Ford they're just the same. Iron Man existed as a character for 50 years before we finally saw Robert Downey Jr. portraying him. Is there someone else who is cool and charismatic out there who can play Iron Man? Well, you just said that it happened with Batman. A bunch of different people.
Right, but that's because Batman. Batman has always been an icon. Batman has always been the top of the tier. Now,
Iron Man is now an icon.
Jr.
I'm telling you, Iron Man is not just dependent on the charisma of Robert Downey Jr., even though that is a supercharged battery when he's in there. It is still the fantasy of owning that suit that people like, owning a whole closet full of those suits. And if you can find someone else, and give me like a week to think about it, and I'll give you a list of people who I think could actually play Tony Stark. Following,
we're going to find out. We're going to find out exactly what happens because the MCU is going to fall apart without Robert Downey Jr. putting asses in seats.
I have a name for you right now.
Okay.
John Hamm.
Oh my God! Please. You think he can match Robert Downey Jr.'s charisma and his star power?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't think Jeremy. I didn't like him, and then I watched a couple episodes of Mad Men, and I
love John Hamm.
I think he could do it in a different, just different enough from Robert Downey Jr. to where he's not copying him, but have his own take on it. I think he would do a good job if they decided to do on the different type of whatever Marvel track.
I can't believe you guys haven't thought of our Lord and Savior Danny DeVito. You're telling me you think Danny DeVito couldn't be Iron Man? Sure, he'd be a little on the short side.
No,
I mean, you guys are trying to make the argument that I'm saying Iron Man didn't exist. I didn't say he didn't exist. I said that he was not anywhere near Batman and Superman and Spider-Man's level of marketability.
Nobody is, though. That's my whole thing.
No, but what I'm saying is Iron Man is beyond them all now because of Downey.
Oh, I disagree with that. Now that I would disagree with. I wouldn't say.
Okay, Iron Man. Hang on. Iron Man 3 made $1.3 billion in a shitty
Captain
film.
Marvel
Batman,
just made
wait a minute.
$1 point something billion miles. She's still a shit character.
Wait a minute. Batman and Superman together couldn't even break 900 million in a shitty film.
Well, look who they cast as Batman.
It doesn't matter. It
Yes,
was a
it
shitty
does.
film. No, Ben Affleck was actually the least of the problems in that movie. He was actually the best part of that movie.
I disagree.
No, I mean, I don't like Ben Affleck as Batman, but he was definitely the best part of that movie.
My thing
No, the best part of that movie was the whole Star Wars thing on Lex Luthor's thing at the end.
But first, I want to say, like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. Like, my thing is, Iron Man was embraced. He's not like Captain Marvel. This is what made Captain Marvel different from the Iron Mans of the world. Even the Black Panthers of the world, even Doctor Strange, people that aren't necessarily on the level of the Thors of the world and the Hulks of the world, they still were at least embraced irrefutably by way of the comic book community, like EVS was talking about. These guys have been put through the ringer and battle tested, and a lot of them, when we talk about guys like, I would argue, Black Panther and obviously the Spider-Mans of the world, these guys have become a part of American culture. They're at least recognizable. I would argue that yes, people knew who the hell Iron Man was.
I never said they didn't.
No, but I'm saying that's part of it. That's not to say that Robert Downey Jr. didn't kill it in the role. He absolutely killed it in a role, and that's apparently obvious. But what I'm saying is that it's more of a perfect storm type of thing in which you had this character that had been put through the ringer for decades, was at least recognizable among American culture, had all of these, but he had previous appearances, be it in cartoons and so forth. So people knew who Iron Man was. But I would argue right before Iron Man, I can't agree with that, because I would hardly disagree with it. The idea that Robert Downey Jr. at that, it's easy to say it now in hindsight or in retrospect or whatever you want to call it.
Again, I know about Robert Downey Jr.'s career. He was in the fucking Shaggy Dog with Tim Allen. I understand.
That's what I'm saying.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that Robert Downey Jr. is the absolute most perfect casting that
I want to say I agree with you, but I know somebody who could step into the role right now in A-list and actually supplant and take over Robert Downey Jr. You want to know who?
Yep.
And at first you're going to say Ethan, no, but then I want you to double think about this.
And then I'll let EFAP guys talk. I'm sorry, guys. We've had a big argument. I want your take. So
right here, Brad Pitt.
No.
Oh God, no.
Brad Pitt.
No.
Brad Pitt
I'm going to watch that movie.
Brad Pitt is Tony Stark. He's got the smirk. He's got the good looks.
Oh, look at that mustache. He looks like Hal with that mustache.
What about Medea?
Dude,
EVS, you had everybody on your side, and you just lost them with that.
No,
one. You had them all on your side.
On your side. I would 100% watch that movie.
You put Brad Pitt.
The chat just turned. You did a heel turn, EVS. You just lost them. You lost them.
You guys.
Hey, if that was a movie, it would make $1 billion, just like Aquaman, for the exact same reason.
Just
why
like World
Aquaman
War
made $1
Z.
billion.
Just like World War Z.
I just saw him in World War Z. He was
Superhero
a great
in World War
hero.
Z, Jeremy. There is a difference between seeing a man in a superhero costume and seeing a man run away from zombies. That was
I'm sorry, dude. This is Tony Stark. That's Tony Stark. That's
never
Tony
happening.
Stark.
That's not happening. Real quick. All right, Wolf. What is your thoughts on all of this?
I only read manga, dude. I don't know anything about this shit.
All right, Rags. Got anything to add?
No. I'm not a big actor person, so I don't really know myself.
Well, I just want to make sure you guys had your opportunity.
Robert Downey Jr. would be the only one. I mean, there's so many actors out there.
Oh, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, but again, I just think you look at what he has, like, okay, Hugh Jackman, is he the perfect cast for Wolverine? Absolutely. He's great.
No, he's not.
What?
Yes, he is.
Dude, go back.
EBS, you are going to slowly lose this chat that you have on your side.
Go, you guys.
I'm not even a big comic book fan.
You're only saying that because you're used to seeing him.
That's a little crazy.
Go back.
Hugh Jackman
go back to
perfect.
2003.
He's perfect.
Go
back.
We don't know that somebody else couldn't have done better. We got a really, really good choice, but there's so many people out there that you couldn't possibly count them all.
he became Wolverine. Go back to 2003.
Dude, I'm not. I understand when he.
X-Men.
No, I understand
he is not Wolverine.
I understand when Hugh Jackman
Wolverine.
was cast. When he was cast, everybody questioned it because he was an unknown. He was too tall.
That's correct.
I understand all of that, but we're talking about has he been the perfect cast for Wolverine, and he absolutely has been the definitive Wolverine
because he grew into the role. Jeremy, you have to take a good actor and say, hey, you're going to become this guy. He hit the gym every day. He grew it. He grew that hairdo. He became Wolverine. But when you first see that guy and he's 6'2" and really skinny, he doesn't look like the Wolverine that we'd known before. Now, here's what happened. He became Wolverine, and then Wolverine in the comics became Hugh Jackman. And those two things together are the reason why today you're saying, that's a layup. 2003, you wouldn't have been saying that, or 2002, whenever that happened.
I didn't. I was against Hugh Jackman's casting. I'm not disputing that. But what my point is, he has been viewed as the perfect Wolverine. That's how fans have perceived him over the years, even through bad movies, even through X-Men Origins Wolverine. They didn't turn on Hugh Jackman as the character. They turned on the writing of the movie. Nobody said, we can't have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine because this movie was terrible. They all stood by him.
You're comfortable with him.
It's not even comfortable. Like, Hugh Jackman has been amazing in this role. Absolutely amazing. But the point I'm making, I have an overarching point, is that it's been a successful run. It's nothing that somebody else can't step in the role. Tom Hardy could step in this role and be Wolverine, and he would be perfect.
Melissa McCarthy is Wolverine.
Tom Hardy would be perfect in this role. I would love for Tom Hardy because he's short, he's stocky, and he has Wolverine's mannerisms and everything. So
why does the height matter? Is that really a big deal?
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Is that just a guy thing?
In the comics, it's a big deal. Like, and I would argue that they're doing a better job, certainly in the recent decade. Even you can say what you want about the current Uncanny X-Men run, but they're like, even in the new Savage Avengers, they're making sure that they go out of their way to. The artists seem to be doing a decent job, and they're making him look, smaller.
So hang on. So my point here is that anybody else a good actor could take the role of Wolverine over right now. And he could mirror or equal what Wolverine or what Hugh Jackman has brought from a successful standpoint, because it's been fairly successful.
I think it's a different landscape.
Nobody is taking Robert Downey Jr.'s shoes and filling them. Nobody's taking that
role. What about
somebody
in the chat said Robert Sheehan could do it. Robert Sheehan could take over and become the. Well, let me show you. Okay, and then you make up your own mind. I mean, that's. I'm here to help you. This is Robert Sheehan. So in the chat, they're saying Robert Sheehan. I don't know.
Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Wait,
you guys are all going to be sorry about Brad Pitt. I'm telling you. And somebody else in the chat, by the way, you got a super chat. I'm going to advance you.
Oh my God, I'm so behind.
The super chat said Mark Wahlberg for Tony Stark. No, he's not smart enough.
No,
he's not smart enough.
I don't even care about the character, and I'm saying no.
This guy is smart enough. Do you understand? This is Tony Stark, and I'm telling you.
Thinking about it now, like, I could actually see that. Like, I wouldn't have ever thought about. I wouldn't have thought about that. I wouldn't have thought about that had EVS not brought it up. I could see a Brad Pitt Iron Man. I could absolutely see that. Of
course, A-list star. Now it's an A-list role. He could step into it. The women would go see it. People are saying he's old. Tony Stark is of an undetermined age. I mean, he could be in his 40s.
He's a man of age. Thank you very much.
That's correct. So there's no problem with Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man. There's no problem with Brad Pitt being Tony Stark.
Hey, I like Brad Pitt. I'm a huge fan of Brad Pitt. I'm telling you that he will not he can't match Robert Downey Jr.'s charisma in that particular role. That role,
Brad Pitt is charisma incarnate. I'm telling you, there are very few people who could do what he does.
No one else could scream "What's in the box" as wonderfully as he did.
Like James Bond. All right, there between Bonds.
All right, Mahler, you've been quiet. Any thoughts?
Just
entertaining you. Just been entertained by all this.
The fundamental of who owns the character and who could ever do it the best. We'll never know definitive answers for these things. We have to see as Prentice Rags pointed out. It's like we'll never know. But if you ask me personally, do I think anyone will ever play Iron Man better than Tony? There you go. You're already giving away the fact that I refer to him as Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. didn't, as far as I'm aware, read the comics and then best portray Tony Stark as he could. As far as I know, he just injected himself into Tony Stark. It's pretty much one for one with him. He's created what I would imagine our culture assumes is Tony Stark's character now. The fact that his storyline in the MCU mirrors his real life, how he portrays like subtle emotion. I'm not saying Brad Pitt can't do it. I'm not saying a lot of actors can't do it, but the idea of like there's so many scenes where if you just watch it slowly, zoom in on Robert Downey Jr.'s face, there's like a metric ton of like things you can draw out of it. He was not only an exceptional character actor, but he actually cared about the project as well. There's a lot of things you can find out where he had input on the script to make sure Tony was going the quote-unquote correct way. Iron Man 1 was heavily improvised, so all of his and Jeff Bridges' work went into the film. So as far as I'm concerned, he did put Iron Man where it is. And could someone else have done that? Maybe, but then we have to question like all of the most iconic roles in history, because you did bring up Wolverine, but like I've always thought that no one would do a better Tywin than Charles Dance, but maybe Christopher Lee could have, maybe Peter Cushing could have. It's like you never know. But
no one's gonna do a better Saruman than Christopher Lee.
Yeah, that too. Like how does anyone beat Ian Gandalf?
Characters in Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
but you don't know. Maybe someone could. And I'm like, yeah, maybe someone could.
Can you imagine Sam without him being Sean Astin?
But if they released an Iron Man reboot or something and they gave it to Brad Pitt, I would just be like, I think we need to slow this right down because it's too fresh. People are going to be like, you're not Robert Downey Jr. Even if you nailed it.
I just disagree. I think you guys are really underestimating Brad Pitt in terms of his charm, charisma, and capability as an actor in comparison.
Well, I don't think we're saying that he's not capable of it,
but to match Downey, I just don't think it's even like. I think Chris Pratt equals Robert Downey Jr. in terms of charisma, but he can't match Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man in terms of charisma. Like, I don't think Robert Downey Jr. could make Star-Lord what Chris Pratt has made him. It's not so much about Robert Downey Jr.'s ability. It's about Robert Downey's ability to make Iron Man.
But isn't that an argument of familiarity, though? But isn't that an argument of familiarity? That's like, all right, well, yeah, you've seen definitely Iron Man. I mean, we've seen him developed over the course of years. And that's the most difficult thing about these sort of what-if scenarios, because you can't just look at it from, okay, if the person filled the role now, after the fact, after 10 years, a decade worth of character building, and this person filling a role, you would have to take it into consideration. Like, all right, if we wipe the slate clean and let's say we put an actor into this role, what way could it have done? And we go down that rabbit hole, we'd be here all day because it's very difficult to predict that. But that would be the more, I guess, logical approach to I guess trying to assess who could do it and who could not trying to look at it in the
hang on, Anna. What you got, Anna?
I saw this a few months ago, and it's the Avengers if it was cast in the 90s.
And it's got Cap as Brad Pitt.
Look who we have as Iron Man, though.
Keanu. I actually don't hate that. I actually don't hate it, but
there's another one with Tom Cruise. It's not in this one. Let's see if I can find it.
That would make a really cool Iron Man.
John Stamos as the Winter Soldier. Uncle Jesse. That's great. That's fantastic.
Oh, look. I like the guy that plays Falcon now, but I would love to see this.
I'd love to see Eddie Murphy in that role. Eddie Murphy might define the role of Falcon like Downey defined the role of Iron Man.
Oh, man, that'd be weird, man. Eddie Murphy.
But like
oh, there we go. There's this is the one I think I saw previously. It's what oh my god, what is his name? Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is Iron Man. Oh no, is he under? Yeah, okay, so this is the bottom part of that picture, I think.
I could see Tom Cruise's Iron Man pre-Robert Downey. I can't now.
Yeah.
I can't do it now. But like if you go back to Iron Man 1 and that opening scene with AC/DC playing and Downey, like there's no character development needed. Like you see that moment you see him, you are looking at Tony Stark, in my opinion. Like, and I don't know of anybody who needed to have development beyond that moment to go.
In the first Iron Man?
Yeah. And it's just like, that's him. There's no development needed. We don't need storylines. That is Tony Stark sitting there. And from the moment you see him, you are sold. Boom.
I don't know.
It took, I ain't gonna lie, with me, it took a while for Iron Man to sort of, like when it initially came out, it took a minute for me to like respect it for what it was. I mean, I think watching it after the fact, older, you know, because I was young, I was real young when that dropped. But watching it older, I learned to respect it certainly a lot more. But again, like I'm looking at it in the context of like when I first saw it. Well, that's 2008, right? So when I first saw it, it was like, yeah, I mean, it's Robert Downey Jr. I knew of him, you know what I mean, but he wasn't like popping at the time. And it took a while. It took certainly for me. Again, I think what we do a lot of, and it's hard to do, it's difficult after you've seen something be great, right? It's hard to be like, it's like looking at basketball without Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you do that? Right? He's been there. He did what he did. He's considered the greatest of all time. And then you look at it like, well, how could I imagine this game? Yes, there's been people maybe before him, but how do you imagine this game? Because he completely revolutionized. And I think I will give you that. I think Robert Downey Jr., he revolutionized like that, like Iron Man, you know, and he became Iron Man. Like you said, I don't disagree with any of that, but I can't say that like he made that like him alone, just, you know, like Iron Man itself wasn't like helping him by any means. Definitely when I consider the fact that where his career was when that dropped, you know what I mean? Like it's easy for us to say all of this now, 10 years after the fact, looking at his legacy and looking at the greatness, because he acted the living hell out of that role. But you know, if we're going to be realistic, I think we need to look at it in the context of 2008. You first saw the movie, or almost so 07, maybe going into 08, when you heard that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be Iron Man. What were your thoughts?
I was completely sold the moment. Like I said,
when I heard, I was like,
when I heard Hugh Jackman, which again, I didn't know who Hugh Jackman was, but when I saw Hugh Jackman's pictures and I'm like, that's going to be Wolverine. Are you kidding me? And then obviously I watched the movie and I'm like, all right, he was great. But when I heard Robert Downey Jr. was going to be Iron Man, yeah, man, like 100%. Like that is absolutely perfect.
When he introduced the Jericho missile, I was sold. That was done.
Boom, you know, and it's just, again, I'm not saying I'm a big Robert, like my personal favorite actor is Christian Bale. Okay. So he's my definitive Batman, but I don't think that there's not somebody that can't take Batman and do just as much as Bale did, if not more.
Obviously, George Clooney.
Well, and if you look at George Clooney, like looks at the George Clooney based on looks and based on his charisma, you would think, hey, he would make a pretty damn good Bruce Wayne and Batman. But then you see the movie and the execution was so horrible. You know what I mean? It just didn't work. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables that play into it.
Absolutely.
You know, like bat nipples, Jeremy?
No, I didn't. No, I did. Never mind, I don't say it, but I was gonna say there was a movie on Pornhub with some bat nipples. And I was a big fan of that one. But all right, we've drugged that whole argument out. That was really fun. EVS told me to shut up a lot.
Shut up, Jeremy.
So it's really hurtful. And I'm gonna call him a he on Twitter just to get back at him.
Don't you dare, because I will get you. Look, respect my pronouns.
Violence. Act of violence.
Respect them.
But that's what we do, man. We fight, we argue, we talk shit. This is what we do. And if you can't take that, then go fuck yourselves. Not really for me to worry about.